Good evening. Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I'm your host, Ashley Live, and tonight is episode 129 of my show. I am bringing back the incredible singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, Joe James. Joe was on my show back in April. April 7th, 2021 was Joe's first appearance on my show. That was episode 63. Guys, if you haven't seen that episode, please watch it after this episode. So Joe has a lot of cool stuff he is going to announce on tonight's show. And if you're not familiar with Joe, he has an electrifying stage presence. His sound is best described as funk and neo-soul. He was also featured on season 17 of NBC's hit show The Voice, and back in August, Joe released his recent single, Do You Want Me? So Joe is going to hop in the room shortly, and we're going to get this interview started. He's going to sing for us, and Joe will answer your questions. So guys, if you have any questions for Joe, hang on to them for the end of the interview because Joe will answer your questions. How's everyone's evening going? What have you guys been up to all day? And when did you first hear about Joe James? Joe just entered the room, so whenever he is ready, we're going to start this interview. There he is. Hi, Joe.
Hey, it's good to
Hi.
see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you so much for coming back, Joe. I'm so excited to have you.
Of course, thanks for having me. It's a
Yes.
pleasure.
Yes, of course. So you've been on this show before, so you kind of know how it all goes down. I actually start each show off with a song lyric. So tonight's song is going to be from one of yours, Streetlights. So I'm going to say a couple lyrics from this song, Joe, and you're going to tell me what this song means to you. Cool?
Yeah, cool.
Do we love like it is the last time? Or do we let our humanity fade? Walking underneath the streetlights, babe. Waiting for the morning to come.
Yeah, so that's specifically, I mean, the whole song is about, I guess everything we have been went through and are going through in humanity, in this day and age,
Yep.
in basically, people that we I feel that we're completely divided. So the song is about like, are we gonna? Well, the song first off is about someone who's battling with going through their own darkness and trials and tribulations and kind of looking for those glimmers of hope, which I'm calling street lights. You know, you're walking underneath the street lights. There's a street light, then it's dark again. Street light, dark again. But if you hold on to the hope that the morning's going to come up, the
Yep.
morning's going to come, the sun's going to come up again. Then you can have that hope to hold on as you're walking underneath the street lights, waiting for that time. But that specific line was about what we're all going through, and kind of how we're completely divided in and just saying like we need to love each other. We need to love like it's the last time. We need to start showing that love, because that's the only thing that I believe is truly going to change in our society and in humanity, if we start seeing each other as human beings, as opposed to just some political figure or some you know um, pop star or someone we love to hate or whatever. It's like all these people have backstories. All these people have their own stories, that things that they have went through that led them to where they are today. And maybe where they are today is terrible, who knows, but like they had a past that led them to that. So we would stop looking at people as like not people, but we start looking at them as people and in humanity. Then I think we can be off to a better start than what we are right now. Because right now we just look at each other like, you know, we're we're just things, and that's not the case, you know. So that's what that line's about. Long story long.
No, I appreciate it though, and thank you for clarifying that because you think of street lights, right? And you look up and that glimmer of hope, and right, you're right. You might have a crappy day today, but the morning's gonna come and the sun is going to rise, and
Yeah,
hopefully you can find that hope within your day to say, it's okay. You know, life has its ups and downs. Like we're just gonna keep on trucking.
sure. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I think there's a lot of good that comes out of doing good and being good to others, you know. We don't realize like mentally that that helps us to be, if we're good to ourselves, good to others, that's a good, that, I mean, that you're releasing that positive energy. I mean, there's a reason why, you know, it says to love your neighbors. You know, you love your neighbor, like you're going to get, you'll get that back. You give that energy, you get it back. And I think that's the thing we need to be striving towards is loving one another, you know. And I think that'll get us through the dark days that we're kind of still in. But yeah, and so like just keep loving people. That's my overall message all the time. Is like just love one another. Like that's the hope for humanity if we just show that love to each other and encourage each other and help each other, and you know, um, that's where it starts, and that's what we're missing, I think.
Yeah. And I think it's so easy to love, but you're right. There's so much craziness going on. People are divided, and it's like we just need to get back to the basic of loving ourselves as well as loving our neighbors and loving our friends and loving
Yeah.
even loving people that don't love us back. It's like you just got to show them love because those are the people that need it the most.
Yeah, you never, like I always say, like everybody has a story that you don't know about. So, you know, treat everyone how you would want to be treated. Be kind to people, you know, and that's where it starts, man. I mean, we're so conditioned to be divided, to choose a team, to whatever, like that. We've just forgotten this whole purpose that we're all these beautiful creations, you know, created in God's image, to just walking around, you know, and there's beauty in everybody, but we are conditioned to not see the beauty. Like, don't look at the beauty, look at this, look at the bad stuff. And
Yeah.
it's like, no, what are the good things, you know? Let's
Mm-hmm.
meditate on those. But yeah, I think I got totally off the topic of streetlights.
No, it's okay because we were talking about your song and we were just talking about love and positivity and
Yeah,
lead with love always. And I think that's such a great way to start off the show. And you're right, you do always lead with love. You do always lead with love, and that's one of the most powerful things about you, Joe. So thank you so much for shedding some light on that.
yeah, of course. And just going back to streetlights really quick, it is for those people that are dealing with a dark depression and kind of going through a time where they feel like they're trying to hold on to those glimmers of hope.
Yeah.
But I'm living proof, and I could tell you that you will make it through. I want you to get your hopes up,
Yeah.
because you will make it through. You have to hold on, because you will get there. Don't
Mhm.
rob yourself from not getting to the morning, not letting the morning sunshine, not letting that sun come up. Like, don't rob yourself of that. Like, it's going to get better.
It definitely will. And life is one of those things, there's so many ups and downs. Like everybody wants to go up, up, up and happy and positive all the time. But life doesn't do that. Life always throws some crazy things in our way. And it's
Yeah,
like, oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? And then you're like, well, I know it's happening for a reason. Not quite sure of the reason, but I know maybe that will come to me in the next 6 months or so. And that's the reason I had to go through that crazy thing.
sure. And you can have a peace in the middle of the storm, you know. In the
Yep.
middle of a storm, there's always that calmness, you know. And if you could find that while while your world feels like it's falling apart, it makes it a little easier to push through uh, to when the storm subsides, you know? So yeah,
Mhm.
you just got to hold on to that hope. Like, you know, there is hope. You got to hold on to it.
Definitely. Things will get better, regardless of the craziness that life brings to us.
Yeah, 100%.
hmm So, Joe, let's start at the very beginning of your life. I know your dad is a musician. So, what
Yeah.
did music mean to you during your childhood?
It was everything. I mean, I, it was kind of, you know, a safe place for me in the midst of some things, you know, that were going on in my childhood. But I mean, at my early childhood was really great. My dad was in bands, and I remember like him having band rehearsals in the garage, and they made the garage into like a studio, and it was awesome. And I remember going in there and like playing on the drums and guitar
Yeah.
and the bass. And I started to learn bass when I was 8 because my dad is a bass player.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was everything to me. I mean, it was something that was around, you know. Like I think people when some people are into sports and they grow up with sports in their house and it just feels like you watch, you know, football on a Sunday, it just feels like home.
Yeah.
That was music for me, you know, but it went beyond Sundays. It went to every freaking day of my life, you know. So, and it was you know, it got me through a lot of tough times. But yeah, music is everything. It's been there from when I can. I think I only remember when I my memory goes only so far as to when I started loving music.
Yeah.
Like at the age of 8 years old, then I remember, oh yeah, I was watching the Beatles anthology. I remember my dad was having rehearsals. I remember, you know, playing the bass and like I
Yeah.
only remember that. Like anything that those are like the dark ages. I don't remember like 1 to you know 8. I don't remember that because I
Yeah.
guess I didn't really love music at that time. But I'm sure it was awesome. But like
Yeah. And
until the
I
music.
Yeah, I feel like the older we get, it's hard to remember where you were at 4 or 5 years old. I'm like, oh my gosh, it feels like such a long time ago.
I know, like who remembers that, you know? I
Yeah.
know.
So, okay, so music was in your life all of your childhood. Was there one specific moment where you were like, I am doing music. This is what I'm meant to do?
Yeah, I tell this all the time, but so a plug for the Beatles, like they need a plug. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But
my.
no, I remember because we're huge Beatles fans growing up in my household. Like my dad is a huge Beatles fan. Um, anyway, we had the Beatles anthology, and I remember watching them on the rooftop uh,
Yeah.
and doing their last performance, the rooftop iconic rooftop performance. Um, and right then and there, I was like, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life, and this is what I want to do. I want to do that. You know, I
Yeah.
don't care what happens in my life. Like, I want to play. I want to do that." So that was the moment that I kind of knew that there was nothing else I really wanted to do what
Mhm.
but do that. And I think it was not only them like performing, I think it was the songs that were captivating and I wanted to like make stuff like that, you know, and make sounds like that and you know, play on rooftops and play with other musicians and like it just seemed I never ever and I still don't see it as a job, you know. And so when I saw it I was like I didn't even realize they made money. And like, so I look at them and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's, I just want to do that. Like they
Yeah.
do that, you know? And still to this day, even though you know, I thank God that he allowed me to make a living as a professional musician and songwriter and
Yeah.
performer, but I don't really care about it. Like it sounds weird. Like I don't care about my like finances. I'm just like I just want to play. I want to make music,
Yeah.
and I want to do what God has called me to do on this earth. And so, like when I saw that, yeah, it was the moment where I was like, "That's what I want to do. I want to be a musician, a songwriter."
Yeah. Yeah, and that's cool that you wanted to do it so bad. And you're like, oh my gosh, people will give you money for this? That's cool.
Yeah, when I found out people gave you money for that, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, people give you money to do this?
Yeah.
Wow. Like, I just played a private gig this afternoon, early this afternoon. That's why I'm wearing this thing. I was like, I'll just keep it on for
I'm into it.
Vibing with Ashley Live.
I am so I love a good blazer, Joe. I'm
I
not
know. Oh,
but I love blazers, so I'm all about it.
sweet. But yeah, I was like, I went and I did a solo thing and I sang songs and people loved it and I got compensated for it. Like, what the heck? That's
Like,
really
oh
cool.
my God, yes. So
I
well.
know. Like, I don't want to tell them this, but like, I totally would have done it for free.
Yeah. Oh, that's a secret that you just keep to yourself because
Yeah.
people will literally say, "Hey, Joe, I want you to play this event," and they're like,
See,
"Yeah,
I'll say yes, but
yeah,
my wife, on the other hand, is like the business lady, so she'll be like,
right."
no, we got to pay the bills, and I'm like, oh, we have bills, okay, cool. And yeah, she's the one. She's the hammer man. She's like, no, we got to pay you. I'm like, okay, you guys have to pay me now.
Yeah, you're like, I'll do it for free, and she's like, "No, no, 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 no. Joe's going rate is this," and then
Yeah, she's like, his going rate is this. She's like, you don't answer emails. You shut up.
No, but it's good that you have her though, because you're just like, yeah, I'll just do it for free. Like, I'll just play for 10 minutes. I'll play for 3 hours. Like, I'm fine with it. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm just like, I love playing. Yeah. So thank God I have her. I'd be busking on the street. No, I'm just
Yes. So, when did songwriting come into your life?
I would say like at the age of 13. That's when I started playing guitar. I started playing guitar at the age of 8, at the age of 13. And that's when I really found my voice as a songwriter and like started to figure out like how to put the chord structures together and melodies together and and in lyrics, even though at 13 the lyrics were terrible. But yeah, that's when I really started finding myself as a songwriter because I had the guitar kind of allowed me to express myself in that way. Because the other instruments I played, I started on bass and then I went to drums.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't even thinking about writing songs at that moment. I was just like, I'm just gonna play bass. I'm gonna beat the drums and like.
Yeah.
But the guitar was so melodic and in the chords and everything, and it was very inspiring. And that was the time where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start, I'm gonna start trying to write songs, and luckily I was okay at it at the beginning. It was all downhill from there. No, I started.
No, Joe, you've been songwriting ever since. So
Yeah.
tell me how your songwriting has evolved over the years.
Man, I mean, I think for me, I've noticed more of just the putting, not really caring about outside influence as more as like what I'm feeling in more of a therapy element to the songwriting as opposed to just writing songs because they sound cool.
Yeah.
I think over the years I've noticed me developing in the way of like I know these chord structures. I know how to produce a song. I know how to write a song, but the songs have to be meaningful to me, because I could literally write a song in front of you right now, but is it going to be meaningful? It might be cool. The hook might be awesome, but like to me, I think it's evolved in a way that it has to come from my journal, my life experience, my spiritual journey, what I'm going through and how that might help others. So I think it's evolved in that way. I went through a lot of kind of a lot of different like genres, I guess, of music. I started in this weird. I mean, when I was 13, it was a little strange. I don't know what the heck I was writing. It was like maybe like experimental stuff. I don't even know. I don't even have it recorded. But then I went to like heavy rock and metal when I was in my teens, and I was rebellious, and I was like, yeah. And so I was writing. So like those songs were great. but then I really started writing in my voice, and who I am as an artist, at about like 20, probably 2021. And that's when I started having, I started writing things down, the things I was feeling for my girlfriend, who is now my wife, and, and things I was going through. I was just writing stuff down. And I noticed that was the time where I started to apply my actual emotions into the songs. And then it just got like heavier and heavier with that, because I wasn't as vulnerable, and now I'm super vulnerable. I'm like, I'm going to tell you everything that I'm going through.
Yeah.
But, just so, and only for the sheer fact of like, I just want to help people and let people know, like, it's okay. It's okay that you're going through stuff like that, because like I go through it too. I battle with depression as well. I battled, but like I just want to let people know, like, it's okay. Like I go through this. I've been through this. Here are my happy moments. Here are my terrible moments, and they're in songs, and you can listen to them and know that you're not alone. So I think that's the thing for me, that I'm at a point in my songwriting, and I've watched it evolve to me just being completely vulnerable and showing like my emotions and who I am as a person, because my identity is not in my music.
Yeah.
Like when I stop playing music, I'm like, I'm me, and I want to be me in my music and everything, and so I think that's the thing that I'm applying to songwriting now, is like, it's me. Like these are a part of who I am. Like I'm not trying to be this cool guy and get some self gratification. I'm just trying to get all my crap out.
Yeah.
And everything that I have inside of me, I'm wanting to get out and put it into a song, and then give it to someone in hopes that it may help them.
Mm-hmm. That's so powerful. And I love what you say about being vulnerable as a songwriter, and
Yeah.
come to a place of, hey, I'm going through this. I got to get it out in whatever form I can. I'm playing the guitar, I'm playing the piano, I'm writing it, and
Yeah.
then performing it, I'm recording it, and hopefully that can change someone's life. And someone can say, oh my God, I don't feel alone because Joe said exactly how I was feeling.
Yeah. And that's the power. And that's the power I think we've forgotten that music has, is the power. It's the universal language to reach people, so many people, just by, they don't even have to know exactly what you're singing. They just feel the emotion that you're putting out there, that's coming out of your voice, and they understand and they get it. Yeah, it's powerful. It's super powerful.
Mm-hmm. So, Joe, you've lived in Austin for about 3 or so years, right? 3.5 years, give
Yeah.
or take. Talk to
Yep.
me about why you love Austin, Texas, and what keeps you there.
Man, there's so many things. I can go to the obvious and say the music,
Yeah.
and I'll just tap into that really quick. But like the creativity and the music and the musicianship and artists, like all my friends that are just so talented. Like I'm super blessed to be surrounded by these amazing, talented people that make me want to work harder and write better. Uh, and it's just, yeah, it's a wonderful creative community, and I love it that it's weird. It's not like anything else. It's not like Nashville or Los Angeles, which they have their scene, and their scenes are great. But Austin, for me, just feels more like at home and welcoming, and it's competitive, but in a good way, in a friendly way. Yeah, so that's what I love about the music side. But then the food, and the lakes and the hills and everything, and it's just all the nature it's just it's a beautiful place, and the
Mhm.
people are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's growing. It's like it's really growing. Me and my wife were driving through downtown on Sunday, And we were just like, what the heck? There's buildings like just popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
It's getting crazy down here.
Crazy good though.
Yeah, it's good. More people.
So yeah, I've been to Austin before. Only one time. I loved it. The energy was so beautiful. The food, oh my gosh. I had the
Yeah.
most random food. I had brisket, but then I had like a banh mi off of some truck. And I was like, what? Every single meal that I had in Austin was to die for. Like amazing. Better than New York.
It's great. I know I haven't been to New York. Me and Chelsea definitely want to get to New York one of these days. But yeah,
Yeah.
the food is so amazing. Like it's just really, yeah, really great. It's so creative. The food's creative too. I feel like it's just a very creative city.
Hmm.
From the art to you know the food, and now a comedy scene's popping up too, and like it's really great. It's a very if just one word would be creative.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are a couple of your favorite spots in Austin? Like music spots, food spots, maybe
Yeah.
some outdoors? Like, what are your spots that you would recommend people go to?
Man, I'll start with food spots because I love food. There's a place called Cilantro that's really great, and it's like a mixture between it's a Korean barbecue and Mexican fusion,
Ooh.
and it's really good. And then what else? There's Franklin's Barbecue is great. Terry Black's barbecue is really good. There's a place we play at called Geraldine's, and it's a venue, but it's
Hmm.
also like a restaurant place, and they have really great food in there as well. And venues, I would say the Continental is one of our favorite places. It's on South Lamar,
Hmm.
Saxon Pub, or it's on South Congress, sorry. And then South Lamar is Saxon Pub. It's a really iconic venue. One to One's great. We'll be playing the '04 Center, which is on South Lamar, on January 14th, and it's a super cool venue. And it was a church. It was a church before, and I don't know if it's still an active church. I'm not sure, but anyway, it has like the steeple. It's like point, and the acoustics are. Oh, that was my piano. And the acoustics are like um, the acoustics are amazing in that room. Uh, and I played there twice, opening up for um, some folks, and it's such a great room. So the '04 Center, January 14th. We're gonna have my friend Aaron Stevens. He's gonna be opening up the night for us, and then the supporting act is Carrie Hudson and Good Company, and then Joe James, my band, is gonna be getting up there and grooving for everybody. And we're gonna have some special guests too. We're gonna have some friends of mine at a place called Riverbend Church. They're gonna have their choir come out and sing with us on the last two songs. So that's gonna be really cool.
Very
Uh,
cool.
yeah, so there's a lot of great stuff. I need to write it down. I need to write a bunch of stuff down so when I get asked these questions in interviews, I can be like, because there's just so much stuff.
Right.
It,
Well,
it would,
I feel like you're always playing out in Austin, so you're probably one of the best people to ask because, like, you are Austin, Joe.
I am Austin. I'm not Austin. I mean, I guess we're Austin. There's a lot of folks that I would definitely say that are, you know, that are doing the same thing, and that you need to get on your show. They're really great. Like a lot of my friends, like the Reverend Few and Ruby Dice, and the guy
Yeah.
I was mentioning, Aaron Stevens. Like there's some really good artists out here. Like it's if I wasn't, I sometimes wish I wasn't playing all the time, so I could just go watch all these people and their amazingness,
Yeah.
Um, but I'm happy to be playing.
Yeah. No, and I was thinking about it because you actually play several shows a week. Like you're very consistent in the amount of times you do live shows. What do you enjoy most about performing?
About performing,
Yeah.
um, there's 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 a therapeutic like element to performance, especially now from what I went through this year. Like there's a therapy about it, getting up there and just releasing everything, just kind of like when you put it into a song. But now you're doing it in front of a crowd, and there's just something about doing that. And also it's not about me, it's about the people that are at the show. Like for me, I care if I reach one person or 1,000 people. I just want whoever is there to leave hopeful and have be inspired and know that they're worth it, and know that they're amazing. And I just want them to leave the show like pumped, excited for life, because this life's beautiful. You gotta take in every second. I think we get so wrapped up in all this other bull crap. Like going to a show and being able to provide that performance and inspiration to somebody and have them walk out refreshed and ready to face life, after they come to my shows. Like that's what I love. I think now for me, that's what I enjoy, is knowing that I have a platform that allows me to do that.
I know, like, the energy in a room when you're at a show is just, it's incredible. It's positive. You feel like all the music go through your body, and you're right. You just feel so refreshed, and you're like, whoa, that was life changing.
Yeah. And it goes back to, it's a powerful thing. And I always tell, friends and people that are wanting to get into the industry, like, be careful how you use the platform. Use it for good. Use it to inspire people, to uplift people, and that they come to your show to get away from something. So when they come to your show, give them that, give them hope, give them love, encourage them to do good in the world, and that's what our shows are about. Like when people come to our shows, that's specifically what it's about. It's about giving hope, getting people's hopes up, knowing that they're worth it, knowing that life's amazing, that what they're going through doesn't compare to the joy that's coming, and they just need to hold on to that, and just let it go and leave it at the show. Just like how I'm leaving it on the stage, I'm leaving my heart and all my pain and everything on that stage. Leave it at the venue and walk out refreshed,
Yeah, that's so important, to just leave it right on the stage, because then you don't bring it home with you. You say, hey, just let it all on the stage, everything that I was feeling at that time, and I'm going home with a clear head.
Yeah.
So you were on season 17 of The Voice. Looking back at the experience, you were, Joe. You were. So looking back on that experience, Joe, what did it teach you?
It taught me a lot of things. I mean, I could tell you what I could tell you what I took away from it. So I gained a kind of a knowledge of what it takes to put together a production like that, and how much work that takes, and how much work it takes to prepare your song, and to prepare a set, and to, and how important it is for vocal health. And that was one of the things that really hit home for me, is like, vocal health is extremely important. If you're going to be singing a lot like I do, you got to take care of your voice. And like, we were just preparing for the blinds, and it was just, they were very adamant about us, drinking our tea and doing warm-ups and all that stuff. And I gained a lot of friends as well, that I'm still friends with still to this day, that we group chat each other, and like, and make each other laugh and talk about music, and like, so it was a beautiful experience. And I'm taking away the good, because there is bad to it as well. Like there's
I know.
There's it being, you being away from your family for a couple months, and And, it being a television show, and, there's a reason they win Emmys and not Grammys, and so like
Yep.
it's a television show. And so, but I took away, like, I would have never had that opportunity if I wouldn't have gone for it. So I would have never been able to see what it was like to be on like a TV set, or backstage at the back lot of Universal. Like I would have never gotten that opportunity because I'm a musician,
Yeah.
Unless I was going and filming a music video there, and then we'd be there and we'd be gone.
Mm-hmm.
But I was able to be on the back lot and see all these cool things, and feel kind of like a TV or a movie star. So it was a world that I wasn't familiar with. I loved being in, but I wouldn't care if I went back again.
I appreciate your honesty.
It was great though. I really did enjoy it.
Yeah. No, I think you killed it on the show. And the thing is, it brings such a visibility to who you are as an artist, right? Because those blind auditions, when they put you up on YouTube and those, people see it, I'm sure
Yeah.
you had people from all over the world that were like, oh my God, Joe, loved your performance.
Yeah, and yeah, of course, there was a lot of people that were rooting for me, and that were bummed that I didn't make it past the blinds. And then there was a lot of people that were just meanies, which I thought were kind of funny though too. But yeah, I mean, it was cool. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have been given the opportunity to be able to get onto the stage and perform, because there was a lot of people, and I don't think a lot of people know this, but a lot of viewers don't know this, but there's a lot of people that showed up the day of the blinds. They were there for a month and a half or so, working their butts off, preparing, and they were there that day waiting to get on the stage, and then were just told, like, no, you
Yeah.
were here for a month and a half and you waited all day and you did all these things and you blah blah blah. The teams are filled. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was able to be able to go on the stage and perform, even then though the outcome wasn't what I wanted, but it was what I needed.
Yeah.
And I was in my performance aired, and a lot of people didn't get that either. A lot of people went up and performed.
Yeah.
They didn't get picked, and their episode, like, they got cut, like they didn't even show theirs. So I was
Right.
fortunate enough I have that clip. I could use it to my advantage, promotional value, whatever. So that was cool, and I'm really fortunate that that happened, even though I didn't go further in the competition, which, let's face it, if I would have went further, I still would have been in the same place I am now.
No, I know what you mean, but thankfully, you're right. You were able to take the stage because,
Yeah.
like you said, there's people that prepare for a month and a half, and then they're like, "Hey, sorry, everyone's gonna go home now. Like teams are
Yeah,
full."
yeah. I had a
Which
lot of
sucks.
friends, some of my friends who were fantastic too, who were there the whole time with us, and they worked their butts off, and they prepared their songs, and we listened to each other's songs, even though we weren't supposed to. You're not supposed to, like, do that, I guess. We were
Yeah.
like, who cares? And, but we would listen to each other's songs, and there's a friend of mine, I don't know if she wants me to say her name or not, so I won't say her name, but she's amazing. And her song was rocking. She had it down to a T, and she was ready to go. And she didn't even get the opportunity to go on the stage.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
bummed out. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about, we talked about Streetlights that came out in July. I want to talk about Do You Want Me, a song that you released in August. What can you tell people about the creative process and the songwriting behind this?
Yeah. So that song, like a lot of my songs, I write about my life and what I'm going through. And during this specific time, I was kind of going through a mental battle, and this was a song to my wife, but I also think it's a song of you know, um, like God talking to us as well. But this was me talking to my wife, like, or her talking to me, sorry, of saying, like, do you want me? Like, just tell me you want me, and I'll be there for you. Like,
Mhm.
I'm here. but I can't force myself on you because you're you, and you have your free will, and you are who you are. But just tell me you want me, and I'll be there. Like, I'll be there whenever you say that. Like this the song saying, like, do you want me when you're, when the moon is creeping through the blinds, when your dreams find you scared and all along? Do you want me, and do you need me in those times? Like, just tell me you do, and I'll be there. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to let me in. And so that's kind of where that song comes from, and like I said, I use it two ways of like how God feels for us, but then as like that's what was Chelsea during that time with me, just saying like, you have to let me in because I can't force myself on you. You have to tell me that you want me, and I'll, like, I'm gonna be right there. I'm waiting. I'm right there waiting for you to just say it, And so that is what the song is about. The creative process was really fun because I had we recorded, even though it sounds like it was recorded all in one place, it was not. I recorded the guitars and the vocals at a place called Blue Bench Studios in Dripping Springs here in Texas, at a friend of mine named Ben Levy, and he's a fantastic sound engineer. So I recorded everything there. And then my friend Wes Switzer, he is in Los Angeles, in the Los Angeles area. He recorded the bass and drums and sent those over. My friend Sean Gettings, who's here in Austin, but he was somewhere else, and he recorded the keys remotely. And then my fantastic friends in a band called the Reverend Few here in Austin, Texas, I had them special guest on it, Nick and Paige of the Reverend Few, and Nick played that awesome guitar solo.
Yeah.
And Paige just wailed on vocals at the end,
Yeah.
So it was really cool. It was one of those, we were all together but separate, working on the song, talking to each other and trying to get it together. But we were all apart, at the same time. So, but it sounds like it. Everyone I talked to, they're like, but it sounds like you guys were just all in the same room together.
It does.
And I was like, that's good mixing and mastering. So thank you, Ben and Charlie, who mixed and mastered. Or it wouldn't have sounded that way.
Yes, kudos to everyone behind the scenes making the songs sound as beautiful as they are.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one thing like people don't realize either, and I think a lot of artists don't give kudos to is like the people behind the scenes, because if it wasn't for those folks, that song wouldn't have not happened. So thank you to all of them, and everyone that continues to work with me and deal with all my shit,
Thank you to everyone that works with Joe.
Yeah, I know. I'm really terrible, actually. No, I'm just kidding.
So, Joe, I know you talked about like your mental health and some of the spirituality things you go through, but can you talk to us about some of the obstacles that you faced and how you overcame them?
Yeah, 100%. Are you ready to go really deep? Because I'm about to go deep. Okay.
No, I will go wherever you will take me. Like, whatever you want to talk about, I'm cool with. If you don't want to say things, I'm cool with that too.
No, I'm cool with saying anything. But yeah, so I had, like I said, my childhood for the most part was really good. I love my dad, but we were raised in church. I grew up in church. My dad was a pastor. So the majority of the time that doesn't end too well, and so my dad spent a lot of time with the church, and he is now making that up, which I commend him for, and we have a great relationship now. I love my dad, but during that time it wasn't the best, and I had to figure stuff out on my own, and I felt neglected, and I felt like he gave all of his time to other people and not to me. And then I was unfortunately molested by a family member,
Mm-hmm.
when I was younger, and this was going on for a couple of years, being sexually abused by a family member. I
Mm-hmm.
kept that to myself until this year.
What?
Yeah, and I
Whoa.
started going to therapy and kind of figuring it out, because
Oh,
at the beginning of the year, actually February 27th, I still remember the day, I had a complete like nervous breakdown. I think a lot of it had to do with the pandemic and everything, just like, not because I'm a people person. I love a community and I love connection. So
yeah.
not have that
Yeah.
for with all these people for a long time might have, kind of pushed that over the edge. But there's a lot of things I wasn't dealing with, some addictions and some, the past trauma
Yeah.
of what I went through, that I just kind of suppressed. And this is the time I want to tell people, like, don't do that. Like, you get it out, like, get those out, especially men. Like, I want to talk to men in particular. Like, you're conditioned to think you have to be some tough guy and you
Yeah.
can't show your emotions. That's horse crap. Show your emotions, because you need it, and so do the people around you. Because if you don't love yourself and you don't care for yourself enough, then that you're gonna show that emotion and that energy to the people around you as well. So I hit it very well, though. For me, I just tucked it back. I didn't deal with it, so just started dealing with it. But like I said, February 27th, had a nervous breakdown. Um, Spent a couple of months, a couple months in a real like dark depression,
Mm-hmm.
like thinking thoughts of suicide and stuff. Like, what's my purpose and why am I even here? And like I'm madly in love with my wife, but even like I wasn't even, I would like I the thought that depression was so thick, I didn't even care about like if I would have left, what it would have done to her, you
Wow.
know. And so I went through a really really dark time, and it was just, I during that I couldn't find music, wasn't enough for me, nothing was enough for me. I was like, what's the point? I got to a time where I was just like, what's the point? And luckily, and this is where my spirituality comes back in. I cried out to God, and whether someone believes in God or not, that's their own personal, journey.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I can tell you that the peace of God completely saved like my life,
Yeah.
because I cried out. I remember being on a trail with my dog, and all these thoughts are going through my head, like, you should just kill yourself. You do this. What's the point? Like, you're trash. Like, you just, all this stuff, and no one likes you. And I'm like, and it was just weird because I never really felt that. But all the skeletons, I talk about it as like, uh, I stuffed my closet full,
Yeah.
until the door couldn't handle how packed it was, and it just burst open. And then I had to clean everything up.
Of
And
course.
so, but I was on a trail, and I just cried out to God, very untraditional, and probably real legalistic Christians wouldn't like the way I did it. But I was like, God, if you're effing real, like, would you help me in this moment? Because
Yeah.
I have nothing else. I have nothing left to lose. Like, this is my one shot here, because I tried everything. Music doesn't do it anymore. Nothing does it.
Yeah.
And I remember being on the trail for another 30 minutes, just, completely in my thoughts, and I remember they all quieted down. I heard a small voice say, I'm here.
Mm.
And in that moment, I just fell and I started crying, and then all the thoughts came back, but I held on to that. And
Wow.
so from that, I started building my spiritual relationship with God, and I just started, doing things to better myself. So I stopped some of the addictions that I had. I'm a very like mentally strong person too. So like a lot of people, this might not be as easy for
Yeah.
people to do, but I could cut things out like quickly. So there were some things that I needed to to cut out. And I feel like I'm dancing around this, and I shouldn't, but there's an addiction to like pornography for me,
Yeah.
and because of the molestation when I was younger, and
Mhm.
I just, that was almost like a comfort of like, oh, this feels, I should watch this because this is normal that people do stuff like things to each other like this, whatever. But
Yeah.
so that was something that was completely rotting my brain. I realized it. That was gone. Started going to therapy. Started working on, you know, my physical and mental health, in kind of eliminating some people I felt uh, weren't weren't helping and start, in my mental stability.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of figuring out like who are those people that maybe I need to cut from my life, and who
Yeah.
are, you know, what are the boundaries I need to set in my life for, for my wife, for myself, my wife, and our marriage, because there's boundaries that could be set, that need to be set there. I think a lot of people think that, just because you're married, you have to, you know, deal with but you both are separate individuals, and you have to set boundaries for yourself mentally and to be able to work together. And so we started doing that, and right now we have seriously the best relationship, and we've been together for 9 years, and this has been, the past couple months have been like the best
Yeah.
of our whole entire relationship, and I'm so thankful for it.
Mhm.
And I'm just trying to and I started building relationships, and being honest with my parents and what happened. I broke that to them of what happened to me, and you
Yeah.
know, and just being vulnerable and open and honest, and not hiding anything
Right.
anymore. Because that did me zero justice. Like, to tuck all that in, and not be open, and not be vulnerable. And so yeah, I started working on it, and I don't know if you know the Enneagram.
Yes, I do know Enneagram.
Well, I'm a 3, so I'm an achiever.
Okay.
So like
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna achieve this. So like I definitely achieved it, but I worked really hard, man. I went through like a neurocycle thing to where I was figuring out, because you do a lot of damage in your brain, you don't realize it over the years, of your toxic thinking. And there's a book I'm reading called "Don't Give the Enemy a Seat at Your Table," and it's a book about your thoughts, and how your thoughts can like manipulate your brain, and
Yeah.
so I started working on that, and started countering, if I have one negative thought, counter it with 3 good ones. And like I'm starting to do that, and like
Yeah.
giving a lot of things, like if I have certain things come into my mind, giving those things to God, and meditating, and praying, and doing those things. So really just in a time of healing, and restoring my spiritual and mental health, and rebuilding relationships with people in my life that I want in my life, and that are healthy for my life. Because a lot of times people don't realize you can set up a boundary and let someone go and still love them. It doesn't mean you hate them, you know, but you have to do what's best for you mentally.
Yeah.
If that person is negative, and just completely vomiting negativity on you every time you talk to them,
Mm-hmm.
then either you should probably have a conversation with them about that, and set a boundary. And if they don't respect that boundary, then you probably should consider, you know, stepping away from that relationship. Mother, father, sister, brother, friend, best friend, whatever it is. Like you have to be careful. You have to guard your heart, and be careful who you let in there.
Yeah.
And so I'm realizing that I'm on a beautiful, beautiful path, that I'm completely blessed and thankful that I'm like still here living today,
Yeah.
and I feel better than I've ever felt in my entire life, because I got all that stuff out, and I'm working on all, on healing myself, and healing my mind, and I just feel great, and I'm just so thankful. But it was not easy.
Yeah.
I'm making it sound, maybe I make it sound kind of easy, but I can tell you, if there's anyone that's watching this or will watch this,
Yeah.
it was the hardest thing I've ever done. But I'll tell you that right now, I'm so thankful I'm living, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Joe, oh my gosh. I didn't know any of that was gonna come out. I'm hearing this for the first time with everybody that's watching, and I applaud you for being so open and vulnerable and honest. And I know that people watching this or that will watch this have gone through similar things, and it's just like you need to like deal with the stuff that's in your past, because if you don't, like, it's just gonna follow you and follow you and follow you and haunt
It
you
will.
and do things to you that, you know, are not good. And it's just so important to like go through that closet that's so overflowing, right? And
Yeah.
go through stuff and clean it out and be like, okay, this needs to be a clean closet now. Like, we need to just go through this shit.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, you have a table, a mental, spiritual table
Yeah.
that is in place, that is in the center of your enemies. And the enemies are the thoughts and those evil things all around you, and those things that are trying to take you down. You
Yeah.
have a table that you can rest at and that you are sitting at. For me, with God, and with like that's. But I have the free will and ability to scoot a chair out and let the enemy and let a thought, you know, get into my head and start telling me all these things. But I still have the power to tell that enemy to screw off and to get off the table because they're not welcome there. And so we
Yeah.
have that power, and I just want to encourage people that, like, you have that. Like, you need to realize that, like, God loves you, I love you, and you're worth it. Like, you are worth it, and you have the ability and the willpower to restore your mind,
Of course.
you know. And so, and be careful what you let in. Your thoughts, like, thoughts are the you know, our own personal thoughts are the things that can be our own demise, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Just like getting a text message and you read it wrong and you think the person's being a jerk, and like, you're like, why is that person being a jerk? And then your mind starts thinking all these things. Start exercising that, and
Mhm.
start shutting that off. No, that's not what they're saying.
Yeah.
That's not what they're saying. I'm reading it wrong. Like,
Right.
I'm letting, set your ego aside and just calm down for a second. And I think that's what people need to start doing is not letting that, not feeding that thought and feeding that brokenness and negativity. You know, start feeding your spirit and your heart, and start feeding good stuff. You know, because I think we give a lot of attention to the bad
Yeah.
because it's so easy to do that. Um, so I'd encourage people to start feeding their soul and their spirit more than the other stuff, more than the brokenness and the negativity. Like, feed the good. Like, meditate on the good stuff. You know, whenever that pops up, counter it with the good.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That's
been helpful for me. So I hope that helps other
yeah.
folks.
I think talking about it, I think setting boundaries, and I think meditating and talking to God are so important. And Sosie actually said, "I love you, Joe. Joe, we
Oh,
love you.
thanks. I love you guys.
Joe, we love you. We're so happy that you're here. We're so happy that you're giving us the gift of music, and that you're continuing to focus on yourself and the health of yourself, and always doing things to fill your cup."
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I'm not going anywhere. I got a purpose here, you know, and I know what that purpose is, and I'm gonna see it out, you know, and I'm gonna trust in God, and let God direct my path in my life, you know. And for me, that is the thing that's pulling me through, you know.
Of course.
Um, and so I'm very thankful and blessed that, you know, I have a relationship with God, and I have a beautiful relationship with my wife, and I have a music career that like not a lot of people get to have. You know, I have a wonderful family, and you know, I'm building my relationship with my mom and dad, and restoring that. And so I'm in a beautiful time, man. I'm so thankful, and you know, if for some weird reason I today was the day I died, not because I took myself out,
Right.
but because some weird thing happened, I just know that I'm happy. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm super happy with where I am right now. I hope to God I get to live, you know, until I'm 100, but like
Yeah.
I'm just really, I'm in a place of peace, and I haven't felt this way in a long time. And in these past few months, like this is it's a beautiful place to be, and I wish this on everybody and everyone who is going through that time, and I just want them to know that I went through it too, you know, but I'm sitting right here loving every minute of my life, looking forward to waking up and praying and meditating and seeing my wife and playing music. Like it's life is beautiful, you know. Don't rob yourself of it.
Yeah. And it brings me back to your song Streetlights, how we started the
Yeah,
show.
I know, right? Segue.
Streetlights. Like there's always that light that will guide you. And tomorrow is a new day and the sun will rise and you will look at the day new and you'll be positive and you'll just lead with love.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So, Joe, I want to talk about what's coming in the next couple of months. We have the holidays coming. People are going to be buying presents. You have merch. Where can people find your merch, Joe?
You can find it at joejamesmusic.com, and I forgot to put it in the comments, but I'll put it up there.
I'll give you like a good 45 seconds to put it up there and then I'll pin it for you.
Okay, cool. And everyone could get a really good look at my hat.
Joe, you always have great hats.
I
That's your
know.
thing.
Hat Box in Austin. They're the bomb.
Yes.
Okay, I think I did that right.
Yeah, you're good. So, what can people find in the merch store?
We have right now, and this merch that's up there right now is going to be out. So I'd encourage people to go grab your hats. We got hats, koozies, beanies for the cold months that are coming up,
Yeah.
and T-shirts. And we also have my vinyl from the album Back Home that I wrote for my beautiful wife. And we're gonna have some new merch. We're gonna have some merch that is really reflecting the message that I want to bring into the world, and that's like you. That's a message of saying like you are loved. So we're gonna make T-shirts that say you are loved, and a hoodie that says you are loved, and you know it's gonna. I want that. I want people to see that. I want people to be walking down the street, and people that need to see that will see it,
Of course.
and hopefully realize that they're loved. You know, they really are, and I want that to be a message that just kind of takes over Austin and hopefully the world, but we'll start with Austin.
Yeah. And I think when someone's wearing that sweatshirt or that shirt, it's like a walking billboard because that person might go to the gas station and the grocery store and here
Yeah.
and then it's like so many people are able to see that message and be like, oh, I am loved.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. Like I'm at a point in my life where I don't really it's not about self gratification for me. I just want to help people. I want to be the salt and the light of this earth, like you know, like we're called to be, and I want to be that. So I want to spread that and let people know that like, you know, there's something better that awaits you, and you're loved. Like don't give up, you know. And I want that to be, you know, what's reflected when people think of my music, or when they see my merch, or when they come to a show. Like you know, it's not about me.
Yeah. So for the people watching right now,
Yeah.
what's coming for Joe? What's coming on the next
Man,
couple collabs, new music? Talk to us about what's coming up.
I've got nothing. No, I'm just kidding. I've got nothing. I'm not doing anything anymore. I quit. I I've been writing a lot of songs. Uh, Thank you, Jesus, man. I was going through a dry spell, and then like all these songs, it was like a dam broke, and like all these songs just came out. And so I'm in this time where I just have a bunch of songs that I'm working through and finding the best songs, and I want to release an album next year that reflects this message, and that it's going to be an album for the broken and the lost and for everyone, really, because I think we're all a little broken inside, and I want this album to be a hope bringer, a hospital for people that are broken or that need uplifting. And I want these songs to inspire, to really inspire people. And so we're working on that, and I have a beautiful team of people that are, who are just killing it, and they're creative, and they're wonderful. And so we're doing a lot of stuff and coming up with certain events some events that are going to happen in Austin. Like, I don't think we've released it yet, but I don't think we told anybody. It's not in the public, but I don't care. I'll tell you.
Okay.
We're gonna start this thing called ATX Revival, and it's with my friend Evan, and he has a podcast called Easy Does It, and it's super cool, and he kind of brings that same message of unity and love and togetherness. So we're going to partner with him, and we're going to start every month here in Austin at a place called Native Hostel. He has a cool little space that we're just going to put on these shows, but they're going to be more than shows. It'll be us performing and me telling my story and me encouraging people, but we're going to have someone come out and maybe give a little talk about what they've been through in their life, or someone that's going to come and do spoken word, or while we're playing, music, there's going to be an artist painting while we're doing it. And we also want to partner with like some foundations, maybe like Food for the Hungry, or something to, inspire people to do good and to be good towards others and towards people that are in more need than we are at these shows. Like, I want that to be the thing. I want people to get inspired to go and be a light in the world. So that's what these events are going to be. And we're going to call it ATX Revival. And people are going to come to the show and hopefully walk away completely inspired, and wanting to bring their friends to the next one. And so we can just, be handing out hope to everybody in Austin, Texas, and hopefully the world, because we have a plan to kind of take that to other cities, like maybe, NOLA Revival or LAX Revival or whatever, and just keep putting it in different cities and kind of pushing that message of hope and love, to the world. So I think it'll be good. I'm super excited about that. And then we have the O4 Center coming up January 14th with Carrie Hudson and Good Company as the support act. And then my buddy Aaron Stevens going to be kicking off the night. And then we're going to be at a place called Radio Coffee, which is a cool venue here in Austin, on November 27th. And awesome. So that'll be a fun show. So yeah, we have a lot of cool stuff coming up, and yeah, we're just working right now. My focus is just working on these songs and seeing how we can go about, really relaying this message to people and helping people with this music,
Definitely. Well, that ATX Revival thing sounds so cool.
It's gonna be cool. Yeah.
Yes. Love it. So we pinned the comment below, joejamesmusic.com. Guys, go there after this show is over. But Joe, that's all the questions I have for this evening. But you're gonna perform for us.
Sweet, yes. So this song, this is actually a brand new song. I've had this song for years, but this song is going to make it onto the next album.
Yay.
So yeah, you're going to be the first to air this song, which is cool. This song I wrote going through kind of a battle of depression and my my trial and triumph of over what I was going through, you know, and going through that storm and getting out of it with scars, but alive, you know, and happy to be alive and happy that I made it through it, you know. And so this song is called Found My Way, and it goes like this. Bring me my wine, 'cause I can't feel it anymore. Never mind, I'm too far gone. Where's the time? Tell me, where has it gone? I look in the mirror and I watch my life go by. Where am I going now? Where has everyone gone? Lord, I feel so alone. I can feel you now. Please touch me now. Am I just too far gone? Yeah, to find my way. My only love is the one thing that holds me close. If not for her, where would I be? My faith took its time. Well, how does one walk that line? Well, I'm seeing clearly and I'm not losing my mind. I know where I'm going now. I know just where I come from. Lord, I am not alone. Oh. No, I believe in you, and I know you believe in me too. No, I'm not too far gone. No, 'cause I found my way. I found my way. I found my way. I found my way. Found my way. I found my way. I found my way. I found my way.
Joe, that was beautiful.
Thanks.
And that was an exclusive for my show, yeah?
Yeah, totally.
Yay. Thank you so much for
Definitely
sharing.
was.
Awesome.
Another song?
Another song.
Oh man. I wasn't prepared. No, I'm just kidding. So this one's we talked about it at the beginning of the interview. Huge Beatles fan, kind of ridiculous about it. But this is a medley. My favorite Beatle is John Lennon. So it's a medley from John Lennon's song to a Beatles tune and then into a spiritual hymn. So here we go. Imagine there's no country. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer. I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us in the world, yeah, in the world, yeah, yeah, in the world, live as one. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she's standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. So let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. So let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Yeah. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Yeah. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see.
Yes, Joe!
Thanks.
Thank you. I love a good mashup, and I love all those songs. So thank you for just doing a fun little mashup for us.
Thanks, yeah. I love all those songs too. Those are great.
Yes, so amazing. So do you have a couple minutes for some questions from the audience?
Sure.
Beautiful. Let's get into it. Guys, if you're in here right now and you have questions for Joe, please feel free to put them in the comment section below. And that just rhymed.
I know. You should write a song.
I know, right?
And by the way, if you guys don't have any questions and you're too afraid to ask, that's totally fine too, but we would love to hear from you.
Yes, definitely. So for the people watching right now, Joe, how can they support you as a musician? What can they do?
The merch store is probably the best thing. Sign up on my emailing list. Go to the merch store, purchase, some of the records and T-shirts, because we get all the money from that. As opposed to Spotify and iTunes, we literally see nothing from that.
Yeah.
And also come out to the shows. That's the one of the biggest things for me is come out to the shows and bring your friends and have a good time and keep on coming.
Definitely. Yeah, guys, if you're in the Austin area, Joe, you play like every night.
I know. We slowed down a little bit. The December is going to be a little slow. Yeah. So is January. But yeah, it was a lot. We play a lot.
Yeah. But it's awesome because it's just like there's always something around the corner. There's always something to look forward to.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Joe, what does success mean to you?
Um, I'm living it right now. Being successful is being happy and joyful, and and knowing that like the joy of the Lord is my strength. Like I'm happy. I'm happy at what I do, whether it's on a humongous platform or it's the platform I'm at right now. I feel like I'm successful right now.
Yeah.
So just being fulfilled is
Yeah.
successful.
Uh-huh. Tom says, thank you for your honesty and opening up. Bless you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, Joe, I just want to say thank you so much for being so open and honest and vulnerable tonight. I mean, you didn't have to go there, but you did. And I think it's
Yeah.
things where it's like when you're in the healing stages, right? And you're going to therapy and you're talking so openly, it's just like you just got to get it out because it's more helpful for you.
Yeah, 100%. I want to be kind of an advocate for breaking down those stigmas, of like, it's okay. It's okay to be honest and
Yeah.
be open about your struggles and your demons and the things, because when you give them a name,
Yeah.
they don't have any more power. And when you say like this is what it is, and it's out there, and it's when you hide it
Yeah.
is when it's a problem. And so I think being open and honest about your depression and about your addiction, and say, hey, like I'm going through this right now, like encourage me, I need some help, like I need a friend, I need,
Yeah.
like, put it out there, put it out there. Like there's no shame in it. Like let's stop pretending that there's shame in those things. Like, this, we have to let that go, because obviously it has done no good for us thus far. So
Hmm.
like be honest, be open, and I just want to be an inspiration to people, um, and let them know that it's okay to do that. It's okay to be open and honest
Yeah.
about what you're going through and what you have gone through, because you don't know who it's gonna help. By
Right.
doing that, you help people. You help
Hmm.
yourself as well as others because of your vulnerability and your honesty. Like people need to hear it. People want to know that they need to know that they're not alone.
Of
You
course.
know,
Yeah.
and they're not. And I'll be here all day long with a megaphone to scream it out. You're not alone.
Yeah. You are loved.
Yes,
Yes. And
100%.
yeah, and I think the honesty about talking about things, right? Like even if it's like your brother or your best friend, like sometimes you just need to say certain things, like honestly,
Yeah,
and maybe they've never heard anything like that before. And setting those boundaries and saying, "Oh, that person's negative, let me distance myself from them," or setting those healthy boundaries up around you because, boundaries are a form of self-care within ourselves.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like it's very important. It's an important thing to do, and I hope you know that it starts becoming just a normal thing to do. That we're open and honest with each other. We're not hiding those skeletons in the closet. We're getting them out. We're cleaning them out. We're working on them, and we're open to people about them. And we're setting those boundaries you know within ourself, and also with others. Because that's very important as well. Because sometimes people like to overstep those boundaries, and you
Yeah.
don't feel like you have the ability to. There's a thing that me and my wife do now, and I think it's very important, and we're encouraging each other to do it in our day-to-day lives with our friends, coworkers, and family, more importantly, is communicating like, hey, can you ask me if I'm emotionally available to listen to what you're gonna, like, any negativity or anything you're gonna spew on me if it's negative, like,
Yeah.
because a lot of times we just say stuff because it's family, especially family with the closeness, and you think you have you know uh some type of VIP access to just, like,
Yeah.
word vomit all over your family, and so I think that's something we're working on to be like, hey, if I'm not emotionally available, like let's revisit that when I'm mentally capable to take it on, you know. And we do that in our relationship too. She'll ask me like, hey, you know, I want to tell you some stuff about, you know, this or that, and are you emotionally available right now? And I'll either I am, and I'm like, yeah, totally, let's go, or I'm like, I can't right now. And I think that's why there's that scripture that says, you know, be quick to listen and slow to speak, and slow to anger, you know. And so being quick to just listen to what I had to say, and her being slow to speak, you know, and like that, you really build great relationships around you, and really have great mental stability when you do things like that. And that also, if you apply it to yourself, kind of strips away your ego, and you start to empathize with people and understand people and go, okay, I'm gonna be slow to speak, or I'm gonna ask you if, and being considerate, you know. And like, I think that's a thing we need to definitely work on as well, like in our friendships and relationships, is like, are you available to listen to all of this that I'm about to lay on you? And it's okay to say no, I'm not right now. And then you have to be okay with them saying no. Like, that's where I think we're all so disconnected, is like, you got to let go of your ego, like deny yourself, you know, and just be okay with them saying no, and be like, okay, I get it, I understand. Because it's not about you, it's about them at that moment, and they're not ready to receive all of your stuff. So anyway, yeah, I think the world would be a better place if we all just went to therapy.
Yeah, I completely agree. Joe, we need to get everybody that we know on this bandwagon.
I know. Just be open, guys. Come on. Especially the men, like I said at the beginning, like, we get it, cool, you're a tough guy, whatever, like, you know, but that's not doing you any justice,
right?
Because you end up getting addicted to alcohol, you're angry all the time, you're, you know, you cheating or something on your wife, whatever it may be. There's like a lot of things that happen because of that, that toxic masculinity of like, I just got to be strong and hold all this stuff in. It's like, no, let it out, dude. Let it out.
Yeah.
Let it out.
Let it out. It's okay to cry. It doesn't matter who you are. Let it out. Let go of the stuff that you've been holding. Right, James? Right, Joe James?
Yeah, you call me James.
Oh, James.
Hey, Jesus did it, man. He cried. He was crying everywhere. Like, why can't you cry? You know?
Joe, do you have any final words for the room?
Yeah, love each other, be good to one another, and just be a light in the world, you know, and take care of you and take care of others.
I love it. Joe, this was such an eye-opening conversation, so emotional, so vulnerable, so honest. And I think it's so important for people to hear this. And Joe, you need to be our life coach. Seriously.
Yeah. No, I'm not trying to be a preacher, but it's God's my life coach, and I suck at being a life coach. So if it wasn't for God, I would not have all this advice to give anybody. You know?
Joe, you dropped a lot of knowledge tonight. I am so appreciative of you, of your music, of you, just everything, Joe. We love you. We're here for you. Thank you for all the beautiful music. We're so excited to hear the new music. Guys, if you're in Austin, please go see Joe. He performs all the time. And go to his website, joejamesmusic.com. Guys, if you don't already, please make sure to follow Joe. And if you don't already, please make sure to follow me. I'm Ashley Live. This is Vibin with Ashley Live. Guys, take care of yourself. Take care of the ones you love. Be kind. Lead with love. And listen to Joe's music.
Yes.
Have a good night. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thanks. Bye.